excited to be presenting here today. So let me share the screen. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So should be good. Yep. So yeah, welcome everyone. And first of all, before proceeding, I would like to give shout out to the organizers for organizing this conference. Great work there in putting this conference together. And today I'm going to be talking about the topic, taking Next.js applications to next level using SEO. Before we proceed, a little bit of introduction. I'm working as a front-end consultant at Passionate People. I am a Google Developers expert for Web, Microsoft MVP, and Cloudinary MDE. I'm also an accessibility advocate, so you will see me a lot talking about web accessibility as well. So today, if you have any questions, even after the event, you can always reach out to me on Twitter at miracle_404. And I actually also recently started a YouTube channel, so you can check it out later too if you would want. Having said that, let's start. What is the agenda of today's talk? So I will be sharing some of the tips on creating SEO-friendly Next.js applications. We will see the introduction, what is SEO, what are different types of SEO, and the coding examples by which we can make our websites more SEO-friendly. Let's get started. So first and foremost, the question, what is SEO? SEO or search engine optimization. So whatever we build it for the users. So any optimization, we will have to gear it towards making the user experience better. One of those users is search engine. And it is that user which helps other users discover our content. So SEO is all about helping the search engines understand and present content. It means making improvements in your application which might have noticeable impact on your site's user experience and performance in organic search results. To understand why we need SEO, let's check how search engines like Google, Bing, Yahoo, etc. work first. So search engines or search systems, they have four main responsibilities. They parse all the content in all the websites, and this phase is called crawling. Then the data collected from the crawling phase is stored for further access. This is called indexing. It might also perform some rendering operations if the page has some client-side JavaScript. This phase is called rendering. And then comes the ranking, where the data stored in index is queried as per the user results or keywords. Now, every search engine has crawler, or we also call them web spiders. And you might also know them as bots, like Google has Google bots. Googlebot is like name of Google's crawler. And so all these bots, they crawl the web constantly. Now, to check if your website is indexed in Google, you can go ahead in Google search and type site : your website name and see if it is indexed or not. For example, so here in Google search, my website is at ANURADHAKUMARI.com. And what I have done, I have site : it, and I can see the result of my website appearing first. So my website appears in this results. It means that my website is getting indexed by Google, which is a good thing. So you can go ahead and check out about your website too. So there are different types of SEO, mainly content and technical SEO. What is a content SEO? So content SEO is all about content. So it involves producing and structuring content in a way that makes the search engines consider it not only relevant, but more relevant than others, like your competitors. So some of the important topics that you can explore in content SEO are keyword research, keyword analysis, keyword volume, competitor analysis, link, and URL structure. Now, this is all depends upon content, and today we are not going to discuss any of this. We are going to focus mainly on technical SEO. Technical SEO involves coding, programming. It refers to all the things that involves how our website functions. And some of the important topics to explore here could be performance optimization, security, accessibility, usability, cross-platform or cross-device compatibility. So let's get into the code. Enough of theory. So what we are going to do today is create a new Next.js application. So you can use the command yarn create next app and create the startup application. So what it will do, it will create an application for you and install all the dependencies. And then to start the server, you can use yarn dev, and it starts a server on your system. And then we will go to localhost and check it out. Now, for the ease, what I have done is I have already created this starter, which comes from Next.js application. And this is my initial code. And what I want to do is yarn dev start our server. Okay. And so it will start our server at localhost 3000. And okay, let's open it in a different browser. Yeah, so this is what you will see when you start it. No changes here. This is what there is. So what I want to do here first is there is a way in which you can test the SEO of your website via DevTools. So what you can do on your system is use Command-Shift-I or Control-Shift-I depending upon the machine, or you can right click and say inspect. When you say inspect, a DevTools open up. Go to Lighthouse tab in that Chrome DevTools. We are using Chrome today and Chrome DevTools. So we are going to use Lighthouse for our testing. Now what I want to do is if you see there are different categories, I want to check for SEO, but I also want to check for accessibility, because accessibility is also very important for SEO, as is performance. But we are focusing for this example on accessibility and SEO. There is a button called generate report. Click on it, and then it reloads the page and generates a report of what is the score of accessibility and SEO. So SEO by default is 100. So everything is there, it's the starter, but the accessibility is 97. Now, before moving to analyze what is the error, I would like to say that these scores does not mean that your website is like 100% accessible or 100% optimized. These are some of the automated checks which you can through which you can find some of the errors which you can go ahead and fix. But another types of tests are also important. Okay, but today we are going to focus only on this. So for accessibility, there is this error on internationalization and localization. Why? So our HTML element does not have the lang attribute. Now, this language is very, very important for any website. While it might look like just a value, but it is very important, because if someone who is not in like maybe the default language, maybe they are in Spanish or something else. So if they are using some kind of software, so for like accessibility, people use screen readers. Some people use screen readers, and they are softwares which convert your text to speech, and I can listen about it. Now, if that language mismatch is there, they won't be able to understand the content, and they might have difficulties in understanding and relaying that information to the user. And since search engines are also like softwares, they are also something which needs to understand all the content. So language is really important. So what we can do about it? So let's see how we can fix it. So what we did, we ran Lighthouse report and we saw there is an error. So before fixing, we can also, I have provided some links which we can go ahead and actually check out later. But this missing language attribute is a very common error in multiple websites. So, and we will see in a while that it's not that complex to fix this error. So next time, make sure whenever you are creating something, have the lang attribute. There is also a GitHub discussion on Vercel GitHub about this issue, so it's worth taking a look as well. Now, how we can fix it? We can fix it in two ways. We can add a document language to our code. So how we can do that? By adding a custom document, or the second option is creating adding something in Next.js config. So first, see how we can add it in custom document. We have to create a file named _document.js in the pages folder and add the lang attribute to HTML. So let's see. What we can do is, this is our pages directory, and here we would like to add the document file. So now I will go ahead to my other branch where I have everything. so that we don't spend much time on adding code. So now here in pages directory, you can see that we have a document.js file. So if you go to document.js file, this code is what I have copied actually from Next.js documentation, and it underlies a structure of HTML. So now the HTML head, main, all from Next document. So here, you don't remember that you don't remove any of the stuff because it is really critical for rendering of our application. So what we are interested in adding a lang attribute. So we need to add it to HTML. Go ahead, HTML lang equal to en. We save it. And now we can see in element tab that now this HTML has a lang attribute. So if we were to run this, then it will give me 100 because now that error is fixed, right? So we have fixed this error, and also you see that some of the changes, because this is the code which we are going to take a look going forward. And there is another way of adding the locales, which is using i18n in Next.js config. So in Next.js config, we can go and add i18 object. You can specify different locales your application supports, and you need to put a default locale in default locale. This is what will be picked by the HTML lang attribute. So if you have different locales, you can go this route as well. So this was just what we saw is came with the starter pack, right? So we want to add more pages. We want to create a full-fledged website and add more pages. So let's add more pages, right? So here I already added multiple pages. So for example, let's see. So this looks very similar to what it was previously, just I have added different links, which are now links to my own website. For example, there is types of SEO, which is again very minimal code, just displaying what are the types of SEO. And this is a new page in my website. Now, what I want to do is we need to do everything incremental. So any new thing we are going to add, we need to test that. Does it also satisfy all those criteria? Now, let's go ahead and just check for SEO because we did not do anything else which might hamper accessibility. I'm going to generate a report. So it will be there in a while. And now if you see, the score for SEO dropped to 80. Why did it drop to 80? So we see two different errors here. First, that this new document, it does not have a title element. Now title, what is title? So if you go to any tab, so in this browser, this is the tab, and the name by default is displaying the URL of this website, right? So it's just a URL, which is not very user friendly. So it really, if you have a proper titles, it will help the users understand what is the content on that website. For example, for different tags, you can understand that what we will find when we go there. URLs are a little less verbose, of course, and also it is helpful for search engines because search engines do rely on this to understand if this page content is relevant to the user search. So this is a very important information and we need to add it. The second error which we have is meta description. So this page does not have any meta description. Why? Because we haven't added any yet. And this meta description is really very important because this would be what will be displayed in the search results. So for example, let's go ahead and what if I search for Vercel in just Google? So you see the title of the website and this description. So this is what corresponds to meta description. And so this is very important because this will again let the users know that whether they want to go to this website or not, or whether this is something which they were looking forward or not. So let's go ahead and add these two things as well. So how we can do that? So go to SEO types. Yeah. So this is the website where we are on. So in Next.js, they provide something called head. Anything which you would like to add to the head of your HTML, you can add within this head tag. Okay. So inside it, div, what we can go ahead and say head. The title and meta description, everything comes here. So title. What's the title of this new page? So my original website, it is about learning SEO. So that title, let's see what I added for that. So we added something called Learn SEO as the title, and we have a meta description about it, what this website is about, right? So here what I want to say is SEO types, because this page is specific to SEO types and it lies under Learn SEO website itself. And for description as well, let me just copy paste it for easier. And yeah, that's what we do, right? Developers, we copy paste stuff. So adding the meta description here, and in the content, I would like to change this content. So learn about SEO types, something like which describes your page properly, like content and technical. Okay, so something like this, save it. So now when we see in browser again, you can also see this in the element tab that you go to head, and now we can see different meta. So in meta, you see the description, which I just wrote, learn about SEO types. And the title is so nice now. So like, it's not a URL, it's proper title. So this is really important. So you can do this for all the pages that you are adding. So they all have dedicated types and title, and also dedicated meta description. This is very important. So let's take a slide. And so yeah, the issues which we found where there were no titles and meta, and so we fixed this. So just expanding a bit on meta description, because it gives a very quick summary of what your page is about, and it really enhances the user experience. So one thing to note here is, even if you don't add meta description, so Google bots or any other bots, they try to find some content from your page to get some meta description. So normally they go for maybe the first paragraph, or sometimes the text which they find it relevant as per the title. But you would not want to keep your websites or applications on mercy of these softwares, right, or these crawlers. You would want to make sure that, okay, I have the control, or I can add the meta description. Again, it's not 100% guarantee that even if you add it, that only will be picked up. I have definitely read something in which they, again, if they find some other text to be more relevant, they might pick it up. But again, by using meta description, we have a chance to tell the crawlers that, hey, this is a description on my website, which to be displayed on the search results. So definitely it makes your user search more relevant and your website more relevant to the user search. So okay, quick summary of the website and relevance to search results. Now, some of the more important points about SEO, what we should keep in mind whenever we are coding. We must always use semantic HTML. Semantic HTML is really very important for lots of things. It's important for accessibility. It's important for search engine optimizations, because again, what search engines do is they are parsing your content and structure. So if they understand is better, then they could parse it better and index is better. So the way our elements are structured, they will directly influence the search engine's ability to scan, index, and learn about how our website is relevant to our end user. Okay, so then alt text for media. So our websites and applications might have media on it, like images, videos, audio. Now, if I can see, I can understand what it is, but for any software or some crawlers going to that, how will they know what that image is about, or what is in the audio, or what is in the video? So to make them understand, and also for the screen readers and for accessibility perspective, we need to provide alternative text for each one of them. So for images, you need to add proper alt text to describe what your image is, so that even the crawlers can understand what exactly is that image about. Same about audio. So if you have audios, if you have some podcast or any audio on your website, so how will anyone know what is the content? Like, how will the crawlers know that what is the content inside your podcast? So you need to provide some transcripts. So they will crawl the transcripts and get to know if the content is relevant to user search results or not. Same for video. If you have a video, have some closed captions, and so that again they understand what the content is. So all text is really very important for media. So it would be really great to keep these things in mind and implement it whenever we are coding. So, and SEO friendly slugs. Now, whenever we are creating new pages and sometimes dynamic pages, let's say we have blog posts and blog content and all, we have lots of dynamic pages coming up, then it really helps to not make the slugs like blog 1, blog 2, or something 1, 2, 3 or so on. It's good to have it SEO friendly, and what it means is like have something readable which someone can understand. So let's say I write a blog for this session, enhancing SEO use for Next.js applications. So maybe I will title it like make Next.js apps SEO friendly. I mean, so you understand that you can read it. So when you read the URL as well, you will understand what this content would be about. So it's always better to keep them more SEO friendly and also from user readability perspective, user friendly. Then we saw some of the points and also some of the code. Let's see some of the other stuff also, which are very important for SEO. One of them is robots.txt file. This file name is this. So it should always be robots.txt file. And every application has one of these files. And if you don't have, it means you haven't added it or so. So what it is, so it tells the search engines or search crawlers which URLs of your website the crawlers can access. So like the bots, which of the websites they should go and crawl. And it also actually is helpful if you want them not to crawl certain part of your website, or if you want to block some of the resource files like slash images or style files. You do not want the crawlers to go ahead and crawl those files, right? And also something like if you have admin URLs are not accessible to all. So there's no use, might not be much use for bots to crawl those URLs. So this is a structure of robots.txt file. So mainly we always specify a user agent and we say if we want to disallow or allow something. So for example, here, if you want to target any specific bot like Google bot, Twitter bot, or anything else, so you can specify the user agent and say if you want to disallow or allow. So here what I'm trying to say that, hey, all the admin pages on my website, they should be really disallowed. So please do not crawl them. Then by default, you want to allow everything. So you can say star represents all. So user agent star and allow all the URLs. We can also optionally add a sitemap to robot.txt file. So it's a URL, and let's see next what is sitemap. So a sitemap is a file where you can provide the information about pages, videos, and other files on your site and the relationship between them. So it basically communicates with the search engines. It helps the search engines to find, crawl, and index all of our website content. And it also tells that which pages are more important in our websites. There are different kinds of sitemaps that we can create. So there is a XML structure, so like normal XML site files. There could be video site files, you will provide all the content related to video, all the video content, you will provide it on video site maps. Then there are news site maps. One thing to note here is it's not always needed. So, but again, when you provide sitemaps, they do provide additional benefits. So it's good to add. And again, it's optional. So yeah, it's definitely your call. How can we generate sitemaps? There are different ways in which we can generate, and normally free. So the first way is obviously we can generate it manually. So we can create an XML file and add all the URLs there. There are also online generators wherein you can copy paste your deployed URL and then they will generate the sitemaps for you. The problem which I see with these is that you need to keep updating them. So it's a manual effort again. If you are adding node pages or something, then you might need to recreate it, and it's just lots of work. You can also use some of the packages. So there are multiple packages available. I found one which I am using, so which is next-sitemap. So what we can do is go ahead and add this as a dev dependency to our project. So we can say yarn add next-sitemap -d, and it will add it to our dev dependency. Then go ahead and create a sitemap.js file, which is where our config will be. And we need to add a post build script in packagation. And the idea is that anytime our project is building, we want to create a sitemap. So let's see. So here in packagation, I have already added it in the dev dependency and a post build script. So post build script is what will run after build is done. And here we say that, hey, you need to run this command and take the config from this file, sitemap.js. Now, where is this file? Let's see, sitemap.js. Now, this contains a very minimal configuration for our example today, but what we need to provide is a site URL, like where is your URL hosted. So here you take it normally from your environment variables. I have also added a fallback because this is where I have currently deployed it and hosted it. So you want to specify if you want to generate a robot text file or not. You can say true, false, and you can generate a robot text file. Then sitemap size. This is optional, but you can specify it if you want. And if the URLs really exist more than these numbers, then they will split up automatically. So it's fine, but let's focus on this. So we have added a sitemap. And what we can do now is, let's see. So when you generate the sitemaps, they will get generated in the public folder because this is where the application will be served from. So currently we just have, we don't have any sitemap and so what we are going to do is, let me build it. So I will run the build command, and once we run the build command, we see that two more files appear here. So we have robot.txt file and we have sitemap. So sitemap is nothing but it's just a list of links which we have on our website and with some data. And if you have more links, it will be like that. And so we can definitely update the configuration if we want some different types of URLs and so this is how we can add the sitemaps. So, okay. Now, we created our website and we did some coding changes. We made it as we think that, yeah, we made it SEO friendly and so on. Now, what should we do? Like, should we wait so that the search engines, these crawlers go ahead, index my website, and we hope that it finds it and it ranks it higher so that it appears in the results, search results? Yeah, we do that. But what we also want to do is share this to people, right? So we created something. We want to let people know that, hey, we created something, go ahead, check it out, and so on. So we share it in all different kinds of social media. But again, what is the probability that the link that you are sharing, what is the user experience of the link that you are sharing? Will the user click on it? What's the probability of it? And how can we increase it? So for that, let's go ahead and see first social media setting. So all these different types of social media, like everyone provides a validator wherein you can go ahead and put your URL and check how will it appear when you are sharing it on that media. So like Twitter has a card validator, LinkedIn has a post inspector, and also Facebook has also something. And then there is a website called Meta Tags Preview. This is really nice because this gives you an overview of all the different social media together. So let's see whatever we have done till now. So let's first see how meta tags look like. So this is the meta tags website and an example of how this website will look in Google search. So we are going to check for the code which we have done till now. So till now, whatever we did, that is posted here, learn-seo-demo.vercel.app. And now if we see the results, so in Google, definitely the images don't come up. So they will just show you the title and the description. In Facebook, Twitter, and so on. So the image is not there, right? It's just title and description. There is no image. So it does not provide a very enriched experience to the users. I mean, users might click on it, users might not click on it, but there is a way that we can enhance this experience. We can definitely enhance this experience and make it a better user experience. How we can do that? So let's see, we can do that via something called Open Graphs. So what is Open Graph? Open Graph is an internet protocol which enables any web page to become a rich object in a social graph. So it contains attributes like OG title, image, URL, type. These four are some of the required ones. You can also have description and other things. And when you add these, they provide some more information. And whenever you are sharing any link, we can customize them using these attributes. So how we can add it? So it is again added in the meta tag. So in meta tag, we add the key value pair. So in property, we add the key. And then in the content, we add the value of that OG. So let's see how it looks. Let me go ahead and start my changes. I would like to go to, another branch. So again, let's see our index.js file, which is the main file, our homepage. Now, in the head again, we can add those meta tags. So we already had meta link, meta and icons. Now what I have done is I've added 5 more meta tags. So they are basically these. So what do we add in that? So mostly title is very similar to the title of the page. It could be totally same or it could be a little bit different, but it's preferable that you keep it same. In description, again, we can add some description and yeah, it should also be same, like both of the description, this and this description. It's better to have it same. Then you specify the type. So my type is just a website. So yeah, there are different types which you can specify in this, and you can find it on the official documentation of Open Graph. We are interested in image. So here you can specify a customized image, and you have to take that path from the hosted URL. So this is where it is, this code is hosted. And then I have added this image to my public folder, learn-SEO. So I will access it from there and say that, hey, this is the image which you need to see, which you need to pick and show whenever in the social preview. And then the URL would be again the base URL of your website. So let's see how this looks in this same meta tag. So now I have a meta tag, and this is the image which I added. And now it looks a little more attractive, maybe because in the image also you are trying to provide some information. So user would be like, that sounds interesting. I could go ahead and click on it. So it just provides a user experience, and it's nice. It looks like, yeah, something is there which is built and they want to click on it. And actually Twitter also has like I showed, a card validator. So if we see in our previous example, when we were trying to preview, there was no card found because we did not have added the Open Graph. Now for our current one, we added the Open Graph, and now you see that it looks something like this. This looks great. Whenever I share this on Twitter, this is how it will look like. But I wanted something more. So like Twitter has also something called Twitter card, which you can add to enrich it. Now, this image, again, this looks good when you are in this full view, but this is like a short summary card. So the image appears to be cropped. Now, if your image was proper, so it will come out proper. But if the image was like I created, then it might chop up some of the ends and doesn't look optimized. So what we can do is Twitter also has a proper documentation on how to add this. So in which we can add multiple things. One of them is Twitter card. Like I want to say how my Twitter card will appear. So by default, it is summary, but we can also have something called summary large image app or player. So by default with summary, it comes as a summary, images left and right with title, description, and link. But when I add it as summary type card, then it appears as a card with full image on top and details on the bottom. So it totally depends how you want to use, but it's very nice to know that there are different options which we can use. And apart from that, there is also something else which you can add is like site information and creator information. So you can add your Twitter ID here, and if your business, your website has a dedicated site, so you can add that username as well. And these really help in SEO again, maybe. These are some of the things which can use, and users can find you out, like who is behind this website and all. So it becomes easy. So these are some of the things which you can do to make it more enhanced, make the user experience better for the users. So yes, that would be it. Okay, so now we saw how to even share our links in a way that it provides a very good user experience. We saw the demo of it already, and I will be sharing this slide to you after the talk. So you will get access to all the links, and I have provided the main website, which is deployed, and also the GitHub repo, which is again public, and you can see the code. And so this will all be available to you after the talk, so do not worry. And so with this, I would like to conclude the talk, and let's see some of the key takeaways. So set the language of the document. It's very important. Add title for every page that we create, so that the search engines know what is the overview, even the users know what is the overview of your page. We saw how to add robots.txt file and creating sitemap.xml. We also saw how to add meta tags and the importance of it, and also how we can add open graph in the head in meta tags for a better user experience and a sharing enriched social graphs. So I've also provided some links for the further read, so you can go ahead and check them. So SEO Starter Guide is by Google, and where you can read a lot about SEO. Next.js also has an official documentation about SEO. Then Core Web Vitals, because again, performance is very important. So go ahead and check them out and make sure that the code, whatever you are creating, is also accessible and performant, because they also have a very impact on the SEO of any website or application. So all the details of this talk, and even you can find it, you can scan the QR code, or you can go to the link anuradhakumari.com/talks. When you go there, you will also find a link to feedback. So I always request the audience to provide feedback for my talks so I can improve. So and the link is also here, so you can go ahead and add feedback for this talk and let me know how it went, and if you want me to talk about something else as well, you can provide me suggestions as well. So go ahead and provide some suggestions. Your feedback is always valuable. It was very nice presenting to you all today, and I hope that this talk was helpful to you. And I again thank the organizers for this great conference. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. And yeah, I think I will join you for the Q&As now. Thank you.